Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Steffy and Taylor are upset over the showstopper truth. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes and Steffy Forrester are incensed upon learning who the showstopper was actually for. Was Taylor Hayes' dress stolen for Brooke Logan by Eric Forrester, undermining Ridge Forrester? Does Eric make his point clear? Ridge Forrester invited Taylor Hayes to the show. It was unexpected that Ridge asked Taylor to attend that fashion show. But he might have had a secret agenda. Ridge has no qualms with showing Brooke his friendship with Taylor. Evidently, the showstopper was a wedding gown, quite similar to the one Brooke had donned years prior. Now that he has created a wedding gown for Taylor, is Ridge preparing to pop the question? In order to make Ridge realize what he is missing, Eric included Brooke in the spectacular. Eric is aware that Ridge ran into Taylor's arms out of retaliation after becoming enraged with Brooke. Eric is aware of Ridge's affection for Brooke and sense of belonging to her. But Ridge is going to follow his own desires. Even though Ridge claims to be in a relationship, he can't deny that his father is influencing him. Ridge Forrester's hesitancy isn't worthy of Brooke Logan. While Ridge is not in the office, Brooke Logan was merely attempting to assist. Brooke desired an opportunity to persuade Carter to return the business to the Forresters. Brooke disapproved of Carter and Hope's actions. Brooke wanted Carter to understand that taking over the company was a mistake. Ridge, though, was not interested in hearing her thoughts on the matter. Eric, however, is aware that Brooke's actions are the sole reason Ridge is with Taylor. At least Eric took Brooke's word seriously. Eric is making every effort to assist Brooke in regaining Ridge. Supporters think Brooke is deserving of better. Instead of trying to set things up, Eric should urge Brooke to let Ridge be on his own. Taylor Hayes and Steffy Forrester are enraged. Without a doubt, Steffy and Taylor will be focusing on accusing Brooke of taking Taylor's garment. But since he decided to place Brooke in the showstopper, Eric would have to own up to his mistake. Brooke was wearing that outfit, and Eric knew precisely what he was doing. Neither Taylor nor Steffy will back down from Brooke's argument because of that. Taylor wanted to confront her, so she locked herself and Brooke in the vault. When it came to the models and the fashion presentation, Taylor got in the way. Ridge should have handled it himself if he wanted Taylor wearing that dress. Was Taylor defrauded of the opportunity to model the outfit that was made for her? Will Eric's ruining of the surprise be forgiven? Steffy is enraged by Brooke and Ridge's runway magic, while Eric claims credit for the showstopper. When Eric claims credit for the Brooke Ridge showstopper, it causes turmoil at the Bold and Beautiful fashion show. Steffy becomes enraged, and Brooke admits to experiencing magic with Ridge once more in spite of his vows to Taylor. Brooke and Ridge's runway magic resumes as Eric's showstopper scheme due to Steffy fumes. The Forrester family was rocked by Brooke's unexpected runway debut with Ridge, which Eric masterminded. Eric Forrester purposefully put Brooke Logan in the showstopper dress at the Forrester Creations fashion show on April 28, generating a memorable runway scene with Ridge Forrester that left Steffy Forrester furious. This action generated more than just industry buzz. Behind the scenes, a perfect storm was building as the media and influencers went crazy making mashups of the erstwhile power couple. Tensions in the family explode at Brooke's spotlight moment. As Steffy became visibly irate, Eric Forrester confidently declared to the entire family, "It was bold, it was beautiful, it was Brooke," taking pride in the showstopper attire and Brooke's unexpected entrance. By leveraging Brooke and Ridge's past to divert attention from recent business drama, the planned action appears to have been intended to alter the narrative around Forrester Creations. When Steffy and Taylor Hayes entered the room as Eric was claiming credit for the showstopper, the timing couldn't have been worse. Steffy was obviously uncomfortable with her father and Brooke taking center stage, as she had already been downplaying the dress's significance to reporters. Brooke always wants to be the center of attention, she later grumbled to Taylor, a feeling that has been at the heart of their family conflict for years. Taylor claimed that she and Brooke had unintentionally locked themselves in a vault before to the performance, which further complicated the situation. Although she maintained that it wasn't deliberate, the timing begs the question of whether Taylor had any suspicions about what was about to happen. With Ridge, Brooke confesses feeling magic. Brooke told Eric in a private moment that she felt the magic return with Ridge during their runway reunion, which could be a sign of danger for Ridge and Taylor's relationship. Telling Brooke that it was the best decision he ever made, Eric was happy with this development and hinted that he would be acting as a matchmaker once more. Brooke's emotional admission followed her telling Eric that she felt more beautiful and appreciated than she has in a long time during the performance, emphasizing the importance of the occasion for her. Brooke described the day as unforgettable in her later, solitary reflections, indicating that she isn't ready to let go of those emotions. Two worlds collided and the writer was caught. Ridge was in a similar situation. He was torn between Taylor and Brooke. Ridge told Taylor that they have just as much history and sealed his commitment with a kiss and confession of love, but when Taylor questioned him about the showstopper moment, he said he had nothing to do with it and dismissed it as just a dress. However, as soon as Taylor left the room, Ridge instantly flashed back to Brooke approaching him on the catwalk, betraying his genuine emotions. His sad visage said a lot about his mixed feelings and gave the impression that Eric's scheme might actually be succeeding. The romance blooms behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, another possible romance was growing while the Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor triangle occupied the public stage. Backstage, Katie Logan noticed Daphne Rose cuddling up to Carter Walton, rubbing his head and drawing him in. The already complex Forrester dynamics may become much more dramatic with this surprising coupling. In the midst of the turmoil, Will Spencer and Electra Forrester met with Spencer and Heidi, who were impressed by Electra's jewelry designs, and shared some beautiful moments. Their developing romance offers a welcome diversion from the more tumultuous relationships that are going on all around them. Up next for the family Forrester? The stage is set for another round in this decades-long love triangle, with Brooke acknowledging that she felt magic with Ridge once more and Ridge obviously impacted by their runway moment despite his assurances to Taylor. Steffy will be even more enraged by Eric's candid revelation that he planned the entire incident, which implies he is fully on Team Brooke. There may be major family strife as a result of Steffy's evident annoyance with her grandfather's deception. Will she act independently to save her mother from suffering yet another heartache? And if Taylor finds out how Ridge really feels about the runway moment, how will she respond? One thing is certain: as the press continues to cover the fashion show's success, the Forrester family conflict is only just starting to surface behind the glitz and praise. Everyone at Forrester Creations had better prepare for the consequences as alliances change and old fires may rekindle. The betrayal of Eric and the misguided magic of Brooke. Finally, here is the bold and the beautiful recap for Monday, April 29, 2025. Steffy Forrester Finnegan is upset at Eric Forrester's behavior in today's episode. Brooke Logan, meanwhile, asserts that Ridge Forrester has brought back the magic. Success of couture show. Donna Logan and Eric Logan watch the fashion presentation on a monitor at Forrester Creations. Christine Blair says she wants to place an order, interrupting. Next up, Zend Forrester Dominguez and Katie Logan discuss bridge mashups. Eric receives certain documents from Christina regarding the agreement with Danny Romalotti. After Christine departs, Donna extols Eric's strategic abilities. The discovery of Steffy Forrester Finnegan. She tells Steffy everything about being confined with Brooke over with Taylor Hayes. Steffy lets loose on the blonde. Backstage, Katie watches as Daphne Rose covers Carter Walton with her paws. Will Spencer and Electra Forrester would prefer to be alone themselves. She refuses to close the door even when Will drags her into a tight. Suddenly, Ivy Forrester appears. Apparently, Will isn't having a good day today either. Catwalk by Ridge Forrester. Brooke approaches her ex-boyfriend when Ridge appears on the catwalk. According to Brooke, her heart continues to pound. Ridge acknowledges that her arrival saved the day. If this leads to a larger event, that is what reporters want to know. Playing with them, Brooke says, "You never know." Katie begins yapping at the press about perfume. Steffy and Taylor come in. The co-CEO tries to minimize the showstopper when the reporters question about it. As the reporters continue, the Forrester women discuss Brooke's scheme to steal the show's spotlight. Credit, Eric Forrester. Ridge joins Daphne and Carter backstage. The showstopper impressed the COO. Ridge gives Eric the credit. Eric raves about Zen's work as soon as he gets to the workplace. Ridge and Brooke is currently trending on social media, Eric continues. Eric is thrilled. When Steffy and Taylor enter, they hear Eric claim credit for the game-changing plan. Taylor acknowledges that she locked Brooke in the closet. After speaking about altering the story, Eric claims that Brooke saved the show. Brooke thanks him and then requests some alone time with Eric. When Brooke is by herself, she acknowledges that she still senses the magic with Ridge. With pleasure, Eric gives Brooke a hug. Taylor Hayes is reassured. Taylor and Ridge have entered the showroom. According to the designer, Brooke's appearance on stage was not his doing. He is believed by Taylor. According to Ridge, it's only a dress. Taylor then explains that the outfit was worn by the woman whom everyone wants Ridge to date. After Taylor leaves, Ridge considers Brooke in that dress despite his best efforts to defuse the situation. Brooke is devastated as Ridge declares his love for Taylor once more. Ridge Forrester resists Eric's attempts to pair them up on The Bold and the Beautiful by reaffirming his love to Taylor following Brooke's unexpected runway debut in her famous Portofino gown. A devastating blow to Brooke's runway romance hopes is delivered by Ridge. True love could not be stopped by the fashion showstopper. Ridge Forrester is going to reveal something shocking that will leave the blonde beauty completely devastated, just when we thought Brooke Logan's runway moment would change the course of history. It appeared as though Ridge's dreamy eyes would portend a return to their legendary romance following that stunning fashion show in which Brooke walked the runway in her famous Portofino gown. No. Thus. Quick. Taylor is Ridge's one and only choice. Ridge is going to make it very evident where his heart really belongs, despite those lustful glances that had social media buzzing. He will be telling Brooke and everybody else who will listen in future episodes that he is totally devoted to Taylor Hayes and that neither a designer dress nor a runway reunion would make him change his mind. I mean, is it really Taylor's fault that she's upset? To stop Brooke from appearing in a fashion show, the woman really locked her in a vault. Which, let's face it, pales in comparison to some of the antics these two have undertaken in their decades-long struggle for Ridge's affections. Like mother, like daughter, neither is giving up on defending what is rightfully theirs, and Steffy Forrester is solidly in her mother's corner, cautioning Taylor not to allow Brooke to win and urging her to fight for the family they've always imagined. The backfire of Eric's matchmaking is spectacular. His attempt to play Cupid for his son and Brooke is about to blow up in his face, poor Eric. Ridge will accept the fashion show's PR triumph, but he will fight back hard against his father's interference. A look is often just a look, even in the soap opera industry. But what about that moment when Ridge couldn't take his eyes off Brooke on the runway? I hear you ask. Apparently, it wasn't enough to overcome whatever he's found in Taylor. Heartbroken Brooke, what comes next? Where does Brooke stand now that Ridge has made his position painfully clear? Rumor has it that she might find solace in the arms of none other than Nick Marone. Could this be the start of yet another complex chapter in the Logan Forrester Marone story? The entire Forrester family will undoubtedly be shaken by the ramifications from Ridge's decision. Will Eric accept his son's decision? Will Brooke be able to take another rejection? And most importantly, will Taylor finally have her happily ever after with the guy she has loved for decades? Katie calls out Daphne on her true reason for traveling to LA. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie Logan will overhear Daphne Rose discussing Steffy Forrester's plan with Zen Forrester. Katie was unaware that Steffy had set up Daphne's visit to Forrester Creations to break up Carter Walton and Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and she will confront her about it. Particularly when the doors are open, the walls have ears. When she got to town a while back, Daphne explained to Zend why she was at Forrester. It would seem that these two wouldn't be talking about this at work right now. But before Katie hears how Steffy ordered her to come there to entice Carter away from Hope so he would return the company to the Forresters, she witnesses Daphne kissing Carter. Given that Brooke Logan had also intended to work on Carter's conscience, Katie will undoubtedly be shocked to hear this. Katie will confront Daphne for carrying out Steffy's nefarious activities. Will Katie also tell Carter what she knows? Ultimately, shouldn't Carter be aware of Daphne's usage of him? Carter Walton is entitled to the facts. Carter should be aware of Daphne's true nature. Daphne is attempting to establish a friendship with Carter by playing up to him. Daphne had already lied to Carter. Should he be taken by surprise? Before he lets Daphne drag him into something serious, doesn't Carter deserve to know the truth about her? When Carter discovers that Daphne tricked him into returning Forrester to the Forresters, he would feel foolish. Carter made this choice without consulting Hope, which was against her wishes. Will any of them be shocked that Steffy was responsible for this entire seduction situation after Hope called Carter out on kissing Daphne? Daphne Rose will infuriate Katie Logan. Prior to Carter and Hope's romance, Katie was dating Carter. Carter's affections for Hope are known to Katie. But then Daphne enters and utterly destroys their bond. Hope and Carter were not entitled to this treatment from Daphne. Is it not appropriate to hold Daphne responsible for her actions? Katie will probably face Daphne and express her exact feelings about what she believes Daphne did. Katie wishes their relationship had lasted since she cares for them both. Will Katie make an effort to remove Daphne from the picture and assist Carter and Hope in getting back together? Will Daphne pack up and go, or will she remain and fight for Carter? Katie fumes, Steffy, and Daphne's secret leaks. According to Tuesday, April 29 spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie Logan will be furious over manipulative Carter Walton since Steffy Forrester and Daphne Rose's secret will be revealed. Following the conclusion of the fashion presentation, Katie had a glimpse of Daphne sharing a passionate kiss with Carter. As Daphne and Zend Forrester Dominguez talk about a secret, Katie is about to listen in. Fans of B&B are aware that Steffy's ambitious plan to return control of the company to the Forresters included Daphne. Only as a favor to Steffy, who wanted her to stop Carter's romance with Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and persuade him to cede power, did Daphne travel to Los Angeles. Although Katie won't hear every detail as Daphne and Zen talk about the plot succeeding, she will hear enough to realize that Daphne was lying to Steffy. Katie will speak with Daphne alone and demand the complete truth after she has finished listening in on this conversation. Daphne will find herself in a difficult situation as Katie snaps at the manipulation of Carter. When Katie promises to inform Carter exactly what Steffy and Daphne have been up to, Daphne could naturally begin to panic. Given that she has grown to have sincere love for Carter, this could jeopardize their prospects of being a real couple. In regards to Ridge Forrester, he will address Eric Forrester on his own. Brooke Logan gained a lot of attention and publicity because to Eric's game-changing suggestion, but Taylor Hayes is now feeling insecure and hurt. Eric will continue to defend his stunt and tell his son that Brooke is his destiny, even though Ridge will object to it. Ridge will have a lot to consider as we watch Eric make additional forecasts regarding Brooke and Ridge's future together. Stay in for updates on Brooke's next rejection because, despite Eric's optimism, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that she will receive some disheartening news in the upcoming episodes. For those who believed they had seen it all, the most recent drama on The Bold and the Beautiful demonstrated that loyalty is never assured. Eric Forrester's treachery sent shockwaves through the corridors of Forrester Creations. Long regarded as the queen of grief and hope, Brooke Logan was caught in the crossfire once more, holding on to a naive belief that magic would make everything better. Under the pretense of family loyalty, Eric's actions felt like a dagger to Brooke's back since she had relied on him to support her while Ridge's erratic feelings tore apart the shaky connection she had worked so hard to maintain. Instead, he abandoned Brooke and supported a scheme that he knew would leave her stranded, embarrassed, and heartbroken, a decision that some fans are calling unforgivable. In her traditional manner, Brooke thought that the harm could be reversed by sheer willpower, her magic, her faith in fate, and love. She misjudged the extent of Eric's betrayal, how it altered the family's power dynamics, and how inconsequential her typical charms would be once realpolitik took control behind the scenes. Brooke's attempts to mend things appeared brave and resolute from the outside. Leaning heavily on the golden memories she shared with Ridge and Eric, she staged passionate conversations and called forth her trademark glitter. With grins, hushed vows, and tearful pleas to their better angels, she worked the room. However, it was evident to those who were closely observing, including a shocked Steffy and a doubtful Taylor, that Brooke's magic was not working. Once able to move mountains, her words now failed to match the harsh reality that Eric had sparked. Ridge could barely look her in the eye, torn between new grievances and old allegiances. For his part, Eric avoided direct conflict with Brooke by keeping a safe distance and smiling politely. Not only was his treachery a poor choice, but it also represented a fundamental change in his perspective of Brooke, who was no longer the family's shining star but rather a liability who was entangling them all in unaffordable drama. Ever resilient, Brooke chose not to recognize the obvious. She turned her disappointment into a frenetic rush of activity, thinking that she could relive the magic and remind everyone of her identity if she could simply pull off one more event, one more spectacular show. In the hopes that the newer generation would rekindle the old devotion, she attempted to build connections with younger characters like Hope and Zend, campaigned for a public reunion between Ridge and herself, and positioned herself prominently at Forrester Creations events. However, suspicion had already been planted everywhere as a result of Eric's betrayal. Brooke's tone deafness seemed to be frustrating even Ridge, who used to follow her into fire. The magic that Brooke thought she possessed had changed into a frantic, even delusional hold on a past that no longer applied to the present. As Brooke sank farther into her misguided ideas, fans watched in anger and heartbreak. She seemed to become more distant with every action she took. Eric's treachery, meantime, became increasingly more intricate. He wasn't simply abandoning Brooke, he was actively supporting Steffy and Thomas in their attempt to modernize Forrester Creations, which viewed Brooke as a cumbersome holdover from a bygone period rather than a vital collaborator. Eric used Brooke's past, the conflicts, the scandals, the never-ending emotional entanglements, to defend his conduct, but many people found his arguments to be weak. After all, Brooke had been Forrester's lifeblood for decades. More times than anyone could count, she had saved the company. It felt more like personal betrayal and less like pragmatism for Eric to flip now, when she was in need. Brooke's loneliness was more obvious as the drama escalated. Even though the wounds from their past were still present, Taylor saw an opportunity and moved closer to Ridge, promising him the drama-free future he claimed to desire. In order to guarantee that her vision of the business would rule the future generation, Steffy took advantage of the opportunity to consolidate authority. Even Hope, who had formerly been her strongest advocate, was pulled in different directions by her mother's allegiance and her vision of her future at Forrester. Brooke was isolated, not because of a single, massive betrayal, but rather because of a string of minor, nearly imperceptible betrayals that, when taken as a whole, demonstrated that she was no longer the center of attention. Brooke continued to trust in her powers. An unexpected toast at a Forrester event intended to remind everyone of their shared heritage and goals was her last desperate deed. She talked about love, loyalty, and family in a lovely and sincere way. And the crowd appeared to soften for a little period. Ridge appeared dazed as well. Then Eric stood up, not to support her but to change course and declare a new project that marked a radical departure from the history Brooke stood for. It was a courteous but clear reprimand. When Brooke's enchantment finally failed and her face fell apart, just unadulterated sadness was visible. Fans were split in the wake of the incident. Some accused Eric of being cold-hearted and of ignoring the sacrifices Brooke had made for the family. Others believed that Brooke's downfall was inevitable and the result of years of putting emotion ahead of reason. One thing, however, was universally acknowledged: this betrayal was more painful than most. The perennial optimist Brooke Logan, who thought that love could overcome all obstacles, had now ran headlong into a situation that she couldn't escape by charm or pleading. However, in typical Brooke manner, there were no spectacular departures or surrenders. It was evident that Brooke wasn't done yet as she brushed away her tears and forced a courageous smile. Brooke Logan's story was far from ended, even though her power was shattered for the time being. The crucial question was still whether she would be able to change who she was and come out of these ashes stronger and more self-aware. There was no doubt that Brooke's spirit of perseverance had not died in Los Angeles. And if Ridge, Eric, or anybody else believed they could ignore her, they were going to discover how strong Brooke Logan could be in a pinch.